Hey guys, what's up? So, it's been quite some time since I've recorded a Dark Souls 2 video. Well, to you guys, the video before this one is the one that you're gonna be saying it's been a long freaking time. But in truth, that video was recorded like over 2 months ago. This one I'm recording now in the month of October. There have been some reasons, good reasons, as to why I haven't been recording Dark Souls 2 videos. One has been my need to survive. Started a new job, and its schedule has really messed with my plans to do videos, period. The new job is taking up most of my time. It takes up most of my day, and the times that I would use to record, I'm either sleeping or recovering or running errands, and it's just been rough. This goes with all YouTube videos, not just Dark Souls 2. Also, I was having, as you guys probably already know, I was having recording issues trying to match the sound with what you guys were seeing. I don't know why, but Shadowplay just keeps giving me problems whenever I try to record. You know, always messing up the sounds and just desyncing the sound of the game and what I'm saying with what's actually going on. I would use Open Broadcaster software since it's better at that sort of thing, but I'm also running Ghetto Sado for the graphics at the same time, and Open Broadcaster software and Ghetto Sado don't like each other. I have been trying various fixes for this, and the one that I thought would finally fix things was to record the game with Shadowplay, but not record my mic with Shadowplay. Rather, I would be using Audacity instead. I would have Audacity running in the background recording me and the game, the sound anyway, while Shadowplay would record the visuals. And that seemed to have been working great until I realized that for some strange reason Audacity was recording things too low. And while I'm pretty sure I could have found a way to make it record higher, it was just frustrating me to try to find out how to get the sound levels working with that. And in the midst of me trying to experiment with that, the mic on my headset screwed up, so then I was forced to have to record with the webcam, and that just pissed me off all the hell. And finally, I decided I'm just going to use a separate freaking device. I'm talking about a separate device for my computer to record my voice while the computer records the game. So that's what's happening now, and I'm hoping that works. Anyway, last we left off with our friend Nathaniel here, who's been sitting patiently for me this whole time. It's a good thing he's undead, otherwise he probably would have starved to death by now. We had just finished killing off the pursuer and showing you all the goodies that you can get down there. Down there, you know, the Drang-like armor and all that good stuff. So now, we're going to move on to another area. We're going to be moving on to the Heide's Tower of Flame, which I have some rather interesting things to say about that. But before we go there, notice this nest here? Yeah, you may have noticed this in the last video. Well, this nest, it's not normal. As you can see, it says to examine there. So, if we examine it, this is what happens. Yeah, that little eagle friend that dropped the pursuer off is now picking us up. And after seeing this Armor Hood description, we are now dropped off here. Rather unceremoniously, I might add. We are now in the Lost Bastille. Now, as I've stated before, that eagle, or I'm pretty sure it's an eagle, it's not a crow. Crows are black. That particular bird was the one that picked the pursuer up. And if you remember, the pursuer is there to actually torment and constantly chase the undead. And apparently there's a bunch of these guys doing that. So I'm thinking that the reason why the eagle that dropped the pursuer off to attack us dropped us off here was that I guess it was trying to, you know, continue its master's duty. Since the pursuer couldn't get rid of us, then, well, it might as well drop us off here in the Lost Bastille where the undead were locked up. And indeed, the undead have been locked up over here. As we can see there's some dude over there who is waiting for us so he can tear us to shreds. It was kind of funny how he kind of backed away As if he's like, oh no, I'm not going to mess with him. He's dangerous. Yeah, but if we go over there to deal with him, he's definitely going to want to deal with us. But I'm actually not going to deal with him. I'm going to be going elsewhere. Before I do, though, I just want to take a look at the decor of this place. I really like the atmosphere here. You know, how we're in this, you know, you got the full moon up there, the clouds partially obscuring it. This place has obviously fallen into disrepair. You know, you got the broken pieces of this bridge, or, you know, or possibly the top of a wall, though it looks more like it was the top of a bridge from one tower to the next. And you got pieces of buildings and walls broken there, and, you know, it's obvious this place has been neglected for a very long time. Also, it's interesting that it's night time. Where we were, the sun was still in the sky, so that bird must have been carrying us off for quite a ways. It must have been quite a trip before we ended up here. It must be quite a long distance. Now, if we go over here, we'd be dealing with that jerk, but I don't want to go that way. I'm going to be going this way instead. The reason why is, one, there's a goodie over there, and also, well, it would give me the jump on these guys, because if I went the other way and then went through that door, these guys would be able to take pot shots at me, and, well, that's not fair. Not for me, anyway. So, we're going to run this way and grab this goodie. Which is a Titanite shard, large Titanite shard, and a Radiant Life Gem. Now, already I can see that there's a difference here than it was in New Game. In New Game Plus, apparently I got 2 of these jerks waiting for me here. They were not there originally. And that guy already notices I'm there, and he's like, hey, come down here so I can kill you. And I'm like, haha, no. So, now, let's put an arrow in the back of this fool's head. And he's gone. As he should be. I'm going to take a swig of the Mountain Dew and survey the area. Now, over there, as you can see, our friend that we noticed before on the other side is waiting for us over there. As if I'm going to be stupid enough to end up there. I'm not. Now, for those of you who haven't seen this yet, we got a bunch of dogs down there, and, a bunch of barrels, and this one barrel over here. Gee, I wonder what I'm going to do. Now, since this is New Game Plus, obviously these guys are still alive. New Game, that would have killed them. Damn it, why'd you move? Alright, let's try this again. By the way, I'm trying to get used to the bow controls again, because one, it's been a while since I've played the game, and two, the last time I was playing a Souls game, it was actually Dark Souls 1. I've been playing that recently, because I kind of wanted to get back into playing it again. Alright, there's only one dog left. I think we can take him out, you know, quote-unquote, fairly, so... And there we go. Now that guy is... Oh, he is able to come through the door. Is he going to drop down? Oh, wow, he is. That's the first time I've actually seen that. Well, let's get him. Bit of a surprise, actually, but nothing we can't handle. Now, we know that there are 2 jerks waiting for us beyond that door, so let's open this door carefully, shall we? Huh. He actually doesn't notice us here. That makes me want to do evil things like this. Boom! Huh. Can't believe I got hit by that. I guess he's trying to show us he can do pyromancy too, but obviously it's not as impressive as ours. And now we got this fool. Come on. No, 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 you. Goodbye. I'm also trying to get used to using dual wielding again, because again, I've been playing Dark Souls 1 a lot, and in that game I usually have a shield in my left hand. Dual wielding doesn't really work too well in Dark Souls 1 in my opinion. I know some people disagree with me on that, but it's not all that great. This game, though, it's awesome. Now, speaking of dual wielding, one of the reasons why I was playing this was, again, to kind of compare it to Dark Souls 3 that's coming out soon, in the sense of what I would like to see in Dark Souls 3 and what I would like to see in Dark Souls 2 make it to Dark Souls 3. And it seems one of the things that is making it to Dark Souls 3 is how well dual wielding works. Now, as we know in 3, apparently it looks like they're going to be tying dual wielding to specific weapons. Unlike in Dark Souls 1 and 2, where you can put whatever weapon you wanted in either hand as long as you had the stats for it. In Dark Souls 3, it looks like they're now tying dual wielding to certain weapons, i.e., the weapons are just going to come as, they're going to come in pairs, and you can either choose to use them in one hand or two. That made me a little bit worried about, variety in dual wielding, because I kind of like how you can pretty much pair any weapons you want, sometimes to rather ridiculous results, but hey, that's your prerogative if you want to be stupid with it, right? It doesn't look like that's going to happen in Dark Souls 3, but then again, we don't know. Again, I'm recording this in October, and while the stress test came out and all that, we still don't fully know what the full game's going to be like. But what we do seem to know is that dual wielding is pretty much going to be similar to the way it is here, in that L1 is going to be using your right hand weapon, and R1 is going to be using your right hand weapon, and R2 is going to be using both weapons at the same time. That's what I've noticed with the dual scimitars, so I'm hoping that that's what we're going to be seeing. That's what it looks like, and I'm glad to see that, because personally I like that approach better when it comes to dual wielding weapons. Anyway, so you can see in this box, we got the antiquated key and the coveted silver serpent ring. That's the main reason why I came here. Well, actually, the main reason why I came here was for the key. The ring is kind of useless to me at this point because I already have a better version of it. Again, this is New Game Plus, and I've already gone through the game before and gotten the better version of the weapon. Now, if I wanted to, I could, go up that ladder and face my strength and all that type of stuff, but I'm not going to do that. Instead, I'm going to pretend this is New Game instead of New Game Plus and go back to... What am I doing? I don't know what I'm doing. I'm going to be going back to... Damn, I am confused. I forgot I don't have the... Oh, I do have the feather. There it is. We're going to be using the aged feather. And we're going to be using it to go back to the last bonfire. And then we're going to use the lost bonfire to teleport back to Majula. Because that's how we're going to be able to go to the Lost Tower. So back to Majula we go. And we might as well see if there's been any changes since we were last left. And we are back. Hey you, got anything new for us? Anything new to say? Anything at all?
Bearer of the curse.
Seek souls. Yeah, we know. Okay, nothing. We got that at maximum strength. There's nothing we can do about. Let's see. Let's level up. As we know, this is... Oh, we can't level up at all. Forget that then. Useless to me. Adios. Dude's over there. I do plan on, exploring these guys at some point. Just not right now. In fact, let's just get on with the action, shall we? Let's not waste too much time talking to, boring people. Let's just get on with the next area. And the next area is Heide's Tower of Flame, which we can get to by going this way. This dilapidated place over here. Now, interestingly enough, there's some people I know who actually go here first. They don't, go to the fallen the forest of fallen giants first. They go here first, and I can understand why. I mean, for one thing, you kind of get some good stuff that way, and it is a bit more of a cooler area, I guess. But I don't know. To me, it's kind of obvious, that at least to me, it's kind of obvious that this is supposed to be the second place to go. I don't know. Maybe it's just me, but it's your own preference which place to go to. I do think that this area is a little bit tougher than the Forest of Fallen Giants, though. So if you're a beginner and this is the area you pick first, you're going to have a bit of a rougher time, in my opinion. But again, that's just me. And here, if you open this up, we're going to end up with another item that's rather useless to me, and that's the Crimson Parma. Now, I suppose if you've picked a character class that doesn't have a shield, then this would be an okay weapon to, mess around with. As you can see, it's a standard wooden Parma. And it says it's, it's got a fancy name and nifty paint, but it's surely a merchant's efforts to make this very ordinary shield more attractive. And yeah, it is a rather ordinary shield. You can't really expect much from it. I'm trying to see what its stats are, but I guess I'm gonna have to go here, take a better look at its stats. Let's scroll through all my crap, and there you go. Not very impressive. At all, really. But again, I suppose if you're playing a character class in the very beginning that doesn't have a shield and you want some type of defense, it's not, it's not the worst option you can get. So, pulling that lever, we're down here in the sewers. Now, up there, I guess if you wanted to walk back, because as you can hear, the gate closed behind us, you can come up here to open that up and, yeah, over here. That's what you would use to open up the gate if you wanted to go back, but I don't see any reason why you'd want to walk back unless, again, this was the very first area you went to and then you realize this is too much for me. Sorry I sped through that. That was, like, of course, a lost soul, and I believe Twilight Herb or something. And here we are. Heide's Tower of Flame. Now, there's some interesting things that I did not know about this place the first time I came here. I mean, the first time I came here, I was just amazed by how beautiful it looked. Like, first I'm looking here, and I'm like, oh, wow, look at the tower. Look how, cool it looks, and the really dark blue of the sky as the sun's going down. Oh, and I'm being invaded. Whoop-de-doo. Okay, then. Let me first get rid of this jerk so I don't have to worry about being attacked while dealing with him. These guys are very easy to get rid of. Okay, how you doing? And I will make my bow. Alright, let's go. Let's do this. You obviously have it in for me. You really think I'm gonna walk into that? Oh, wow. No. I don't know how that second hit did not hurt him. What the hell? Either we're having some lag issues. There we go. And that was that. Not as skillful as I was worried about, but whatever. Okay, anyway. An effigy, nice. Now, before I was so rudely interrupted, let's go right back to what I was doing. Yes. First things that caught me about this place was, again, how beautiful it looked, and, the sun's going down, so obviously they're trying to show the passage of time in this game. Dark Souls has never really had, an active, passage of time. They always did it by having static skies that, as you travel from area to area, then you see, like, well, first the sky has sun in it. Now the sun's going down in the next area. Now the sun is gone in the next area, And I guess that works, except when you start going backwards, and, yeah, then the whole thing falls apart. But whatever. But it's still rather beautiful. Anyway, this particular place, the stars coming out and everything. And then, of course, you got that tower over there, which obviously must, that's what gives this place its name. And then you have that. And the first thing I was thinking of was Anor Londo. I mean, to me, it's obvious that that particular building is invoking images of Anor Londo, right down to, the side towers and the ramparts that you can climb up, It's obvious, that that's invoking those feelings of nostalgia for old players. And as you'll see, that connection to Anor Londo isn't just the look of the building. So we're going to light this bonfire here. Though I'm not going to sit down because I probably should sit down now that I'm thinking about it. Actually, no, I didn't need... that was stupid. I was thinking I need to recharge my Estus flask, but I had already gone to a bonfire before, so... It's late at night. What do you want from me? So, yeah. Destroyed. And there's that. So, anyway, something that I found that was very interesting about this place is that originally this was not meant to be like its own area. It was actually meant to be a path to another area. excuse me. Like, it was actually like, this place was just supposed to be like you travel through here to get to the next place to actually fight bosses in and all that. But I guess they realized it was just too big just to be a place to pass through. And so they kind of expanded upon it. So, there's that. Now, this guy, I hate. These old knights, the ones with the swords and shields, they're not so bad. You just walk circles around them, they die. This jerk, though, has a hitbox that I can't stand. Ah. Yeah, my timing was off there. That was my own fault. 1, 2, 3. There we go. He's not as tough as he used to be. And that was the Sublime Bone Dust, which for those of you who know what the items do, you know that's a very important item. If I can find it, I will show you what it does. There it is. So, basically, you toss these things into the Farfire and Majula to increase the hit points that you are able to get with your Estus Flask. Now, my Estus Flask is already fully charged in how many uses it has. I don't know if it is fully charged in with, you know, how much life it gives me. Hopefully, this will not be a wasted item. So, normally, by the way, that dude with the hammer, what I do is I shoot him with an arrow first and bring him to me, and then I attack him. But I'm realizing now, since my character is mighty, I could just run up to him and kill him. So now we got another sword and shield guy. And he's not attacking us this time. Which gives me, you know, plenty of time to walk over here and grab this. But yeah, he does not want me to go where he is. So he's obviously guarding something. Let's try to goad him into attacking. Doesn't take too much. I gotta be careful fighting this guy. We don't want to roll off. Ow! We don't want to roll off the edge. I'd rather get hit than roll off the edge. I mean, I can always refill my life. Can't exactly recover from falling into the sea. Now, this thing opens up. For those of you who have not seen Dark Souls at all, you may wonder what this does. Well, what it does is this. You see that place in the background there? There's a boss waiting for us there. And he's waiting for us on a platform that, if you roll off the edge, you'll end up in the ocean. And the platform is rather small. So what you do is you pull these levers to expand the arena, so to speak, and then you don't have to worry about falling into the ocean. Now, I'm already noticing some differences to this place since the last time I visited here. One thing, some of you more observant guys may have noticed while I was standing down there that there was a red phantom that materialized around that area. So we're obviously going to have to deal with that jerk soon. There's also a red phantom waiting for us over there, who originally wasn't there before in New Game. And I'm thinking there might be some more. Yeah, I think there's some more guys waiting for us there. Originally, it was just a dude with the giant sword waiting for us in there. And now it's giant sword and giant hammer dude. Those are not good odds. So I might have to come up with a different strategy for dealing with them, because I don't want to fight them at the same time. Screw that. In the meantime, I think I'm going to be a jerk and do my old trick of injuring the boss from all the way over here. I'm sure you guys know about this trick by now. I did this in my old Dark Souls 2 video when I was going through regular New Game. But from here, you can fire a bow into this dude and pretty much make him a joke by the time you deal with him. Now, the first time I did this, I was, of course, you know, brand new character, not that much power, using a short bow, so I wasn't doing that much damage. But now, I'm using a fully modded, you know, a fully upgraded black bow, with iron arrows, no less. So, yeah, I'm pouring the damage on this time. And I'm sure, of course, he has a lot more life than he did before. But that's not going to matter. Yep. Keep on firing. Doo-dee-doo. And another one. You know what? Nah, screw it. I'm not gonna do this to you guys. I'm not just gonna stand here and keep shooting arrows at them. That's just cruel. to you, not to him. I don't care how cruel it is to him. It's more for you guys watching. I could shoot an arrow at that guy, see if he runs all the way out over here to fight me, but I don't necessarily want to fight him here. Let's see what happens if I march in. Are both those guys going to attack me, or just the sword dude? Oh, good. It's just the sword dude. Okay, I can deal with that. No, I don't feel like getting hit by that. And down he goes. And now I got all these guys to deal with. Oh, nice dirty trick. I got a sword guy waiting for me over here, too. See, what I normally do is I run over here, so I don't have to deal with all those guys at once, and then one of the shield guys will come after me. But, oh, wow. Oh, this backfired on me real fast. Okay, time for a new strategy. Grab the cracked blue eye orb, because I like those, because I punished the guilty with it. And I'm going to run over here and see what happens. Are they going to follow me all the way over here? They probably will. So I'm thinking it's fire time. Okay, we got Hammer Brother coming. Boom! That's one. That's two. No! That was a bad roll! I really should have aimed before I rolled. Okay, stupid death. I was trying to, like, just quickly back up and run away. I should have just stepped back. That was my own fault. Okay. So now I look like beef jerky. That's okay. One of these, and good as new. So, while we march back, let's talk a little bit more about these guys, because there's a couple of interesting little theories I have about this. First of all, the old knights. Now... Ow. You know, for guys who I consider to be really easy, I'm not doing a really good job of showing how easy they are, or am I? Anyway. While that... you know what? Another life gem, please. While these life gems pump me right back up. These knights, they sort of remind me of the giant knights from Anolondo in Dark Souls 1. You know, they don't look the same, obviously, and they're not using the exact same weapons. But considering that Anolondo, you know, that building there looks like Anolondo, and you got giant knights there, it's just adding more to the theme that maybe there's a connection between Anolondo and this place. Oh, and I just realized that since I died, that guy's life must have reset. Eh, screw it. Let's just have a fair... I'll have a fair fight with him. Screw it. So far we got place that looks like Anolondo. Well, I didn't roll. I actually pressed the button there. Whoa! What the hell? So this guy's jumping in, huh? Huh. Okay, new strategy. I think I might have gotten too close to the hammer guy, and that's what got him to move, because I don't remember him attacking at first. Or maybe he was slowly coming to me, but I killed the first guy faster than he can move against me? Maybe that was it? I don't know. I'm thinking long-distance tactics may have to come in play here. I hate the way that one turns around. Because it's kind of tricky. You're not really sure if it's going to hit you from here or not. Then again, it also is because I'm rusty and I'm not really playing the way I should. But yeah, I personally think that this place has some connection to Anolondo. Who knows? It possibly could be Anolondo with, you know... Or, like, maybe this place has been rebuilt on top of Anolondo. It's obviously sinking into the sea. This place is, you know, its glory days are over. But... I don't know. There's something which makes me feel that there must be some connection to Anolondo in here. The giant knights kind of make me feel that way. the architecture makes me feel that way. And also, what we're going to find in that giant tower also makes me feel that way. Now, these two jerks are going to come after me. Uh-oh. Whoa, whoa, whoa. I hope you guys are seeing what strategy I'm coming up with here. I'm trying to fight them without engaging the Hammer Brother. But it looks like I already did. So, new plan, new plan. New plan is play with fire. Go after the weakest one first. Alright, keep targeting him. Hammer Brother, can you get out the way so I can kill your friend, please? Thank you. Here we go. Whoa! Such violence! I'm gonna get hit, but I don't... Whoa! Whoa! Those two rolls were badly timed on my part. I'll admit it. The fire does good damage, but I don't have enough of them to do what I need to do. I suppose I could go with great heavy soul arrows. You know what? That is what I'm going to do. That way I don't have to let go of my swords. So, let's try this again. 1, 2, 3, roll. There, die. Use another one of these, because I don't want to look like beef jerky. Though if I die again, then I guess I'll stay as beef jerky as punishment until I beat the boss. This is getting embarrassing, though. But what a way to whip me back into shape by throwing all these guys at me at once. Okay, then. Once they all come after me... Whoa, that was badly timed. My part. It was the only thing that saved me was my distance. What the hell? I swear I pressed roll there. Alright then. How much damage was it do? Not enough. Not enough. Okay. It's a good thing they're slow. New plan. That hopefully will hit multiples. I hope they follow me down here, because this will make it a bit easier for me to deal with them. And now him. Whoa! Whoa! Way too violent, sir. Think you got anger management issues? I better stop talking and start fighting. Whack. Whack. 1, 2. Finally! Victory is mine. That was a mean freaking trap. I'm glad I finally survived it. And that's the old Knight King shield. Oh man, that was brutal. Now, I could go that way. Might be a good idea for me to go that way. But instead, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go this way. Because I've earned the right. And we're going to try to zip past this fella. No, sir, I don't want to get hit by that. Bang, and then golf swing. See, I like when he does that one, because it takes a while to recover from that. Okay, so we now have Red Phantom over there and Giant Sword Dude over there. Again, I don't like those odds, so I'm going to see if I can pull one of them, particularly that guy. And actually, I should be using poison arrows against him. What's the use of having poison arrows if you're not going to use them, right? There we go! Have some strychnine. Who says I have to play fair? This game obviously isn't. So, let's see what this guy is. Whoa! So that must... yeah, looks like some type of lance. Yeah. Nice weapon. Too bad you couldn't use it to save your life. So now that he's dead, we can move on and take out this dude, and then we will deal with the boss. And hopefully the boss will not completely wreck me. So, here we got Giant Sword Dude, and boom. Whack, whack, boom, whack, and he dead. Just the way we like him. Over here we got a chest, and again, those of you who've already played this know what this is. Actually, I just realized I took a bit of a risk here because they could have easily messed with me and turned that into a mimic or something. So here's a human effigy and a green blossom. And green blossoms are useful for, you know, boosting your stamina up. And the human effigy, of course, is, well, you already know what that's for. This here is a good old summon sign for this guy, but I never bring this guy into my game because, to be perfectly honest, you don't really need it for him. But I am rather rusty right now, so there is a really good chance I can get my butt kicked. Still, hey. What's the point of watching this if there isn't a chance that I can get killed, right? Excitement and all that. So, let's go in here. Hi, I'm fighting you fairly for once, and I forgot to, you know, forgot to lift up the other part of the platform, so there's still a chance I could fall and die. As you can see, though, there's nothing really special to fight this guy. He's not that hard. Though, me having the arena, you know, the way it is, does make it so that I can easily fall, but he's not much of a boss. He's just... yeah, he's just not really a threat. I mean, using the bow and arrow trick on him is overkill, really. It's rather sad. So, we still have plenty of time. I'm thinking that I have just enough time to go up here, show you our little friendly NPC, somewhat friendly NPC, and then move on to the so-called surprise of this area. So let's hit this bonfire here, but we are not going to sit down because I don't feel like resetting this area. And let's speak to our friend here.
Are you from these parts? My name is Lycia. I have come to spread the art of miracles, a practice of which I am a disciple.
Oh, really now?
I can see that you are well suited to comprehend their wondrous power. But the cost of it, that's for your heart to decide.
So, obviously, she is here to sell us miracles. And she, you know, besides this chime, so that we'd be able to do miracles in case we didn't pick a cleric, will help us with that. She has your usual stuff, you know, your heals, replenishment, which is, it basically is sort of like if you're wearing the refreshment ring. Run to split life, which is basically, it slowly brings up a large amount of HP. It's useful. Caressing prayer, which basically gets rid of poison. Force, which is a very good skill to use when you're dealing with enemies near pits. You know, if you're on ledges and stuff. Lightning is lightning has really gotten nerfed to hell in Dark Souls 2. I've never really used them, so I didn't really feel the brunt of that, but I felt sorry for all the other faith-based guys who, you know, they thought they were going to wreck shop with lightning like in Dark Souls 1, only to have their uses cut down and the amount of damage knocked down. So it's like, what's the point of using it now? I still don't understand the reasoning behind them nerfing the crap out of this, but whatever. And then, of course, Guidance, which reveals more messages from other worlds, which I don't think many people even bother using. And then Homeward, which is useful, except for the fact that Homeward bones are quite plentiful. But whatever, having another option to be able to warp back to a bonfire is useful enough. And then you got the Ring of Prayer, which basically increases your faith. And it's pretty good to wear, especially in the beginning when you're trying to boost just that extra bit of power into your miracles.
I'd heard awful rumors about this place, and I'm afraid they were all true.
Yes, they are.
The king, gone. The earth, ravaged. The burden on the people weighs heavy. I fear that by now, they may have scarce room in their hearts for miracles.
Actually, I would think people would want a miracle living in this place.
Well, do I need any other reason than to spread the gospel of miracles?
I could think of some better reasons.
Said this art should be shared with the world. And such is my only wish.
So you picked this hopeless place to do.
Sometimes I fight the urge to pack up and go back home. It is... well, I must do this. And being out here all alone only makes this a more fitting test of my fortitude. I expected this cathedral to be bustling, but there's hardly a soul to be found here. Without any goings-on, I'll have to move soon.
Really now?
To a place I could
Gee, I wonder where you'll end up.
Sorry. Help the gullible by teaching the good word.
Now, that's a very important statement, which will go to gull thee. For those of you who don't know what that means, when you're trying to, you know, gull people, it's basically trying to con people, trying to fool people. And the fact that she let that slip means that she's not necessarily here for completely benevolent reasons. Also, to be honest, her saying that she came here to spread the lore of miracles when this is a place that you can only go to if you're desperate to be free of the curse, basically lends more evidence to me that she's here for somewhat less than noble purposes. Because if this is a place where only the desperate go, then she was probably thinking, well, then I can go to the desperate and sell them any miracle crap I want, basically telling them that this is what's going to help you to survive here. I'm obviously thinking that was obviously her intentions. So anyway, I am not going to bother buying anything from her right now, and she's not going to be happy with me about that.
The gods frown upon such soul scrimpers.
Yeah, whatever. Kind of reminds me of what? You're not willing to pay God your tithes? Yeah, whatever. So, let's leave her and go back. I could just... You don't necessarily have to go back down the stairs. You can just kind of, you know, fling yourself off back in this direction. Well, okay, not that direction. Hold on. It's kind of tricky here with the water. Not here, not here. That leads further on, and we're not ready to go there yet. This direction! That's the one I was talking about. You can just fling yourself off here and land right back down there. But you will take damage, and I don't really feel like that right now, so let's just go down the stairs. And yeah, I did not reset the bonfire on purpose, because like I said before, I don't feel like resetting this area. We've already seen the type of crap that, he's asking me if I've collected any good souls. I guess I have. You've seen the type of crap I had to get through just to get here. I don't feel like having to go through that, you know, just to get to where I'm going. Anyway, let's talk a little bit more about this place, because I've actually been meaning to. This is one of my favorite places visually, actually, in the game, just because of how beautiful it looks, and kind of the interesting juxtaposition between how calm and lonely everything is, but also how freaking violent and dangerous everything is. I mean, you got these guys who obviously don't want you around, and they do ridiculous amounts of damage. And you got that, you know, dude with the freaking polearm waiting for you down there. you now have these red, you know, these dark spirits waiting for you, which originally weren't around. Now they are, because this is New Game Plus. Boom. Boom. Golf swing. No, thank you. I'm not a golf ball. I do not appreciate you trying to hit me that way. And we got some Pale Stone, which is basically used, I believe, to reset your sword. Like if you... We'll talk about that later, because we're not at the blacksmith who can do that yet. But the Pale Stone is basically used in case you've made your sword a certain way and it didn't go the way you wanted. Now, I'd forgotten to pull this lever here. That's, you know, it brought the final component to the area there. I just figured, what the hell, I might as well finish that off, right? Now, normally what I do, at least when I played, you know, regular game, new game, I would shoot that dude with the arrow, and then I would just rush in and kill that dude. But as you can see, we already got a red phantom there, and I don't know if they got somebody waiting for me behind that wall. So you know what? I'm going to pull him. I am not fighting him and a red phantom at the same time. Screw that. I am trying to reduce as many nasty surprises as possible. Come on. Come over here and get killed. You know you want to join your friends. There we go. You know, it's kind of funny. Most of the enemies here you can, including the bosses, you can deal with just by walking circles around them. As long as you time your circle walking right, you don't have to worry too much. And no, just... Whoa, 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 whoa. Man. Whoa, whoa, whoa! How rude! Drink, 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 drink before he gets to you. Okay. That guy looks kind of familiar to me. And some veterans of this game might think the same thing. He apparently has problems with aiming. He has a lot of life, though. Whoa! He hits like a freaking brick shithouse, too! Alright, I don't want to keep drinking these. Whoa! He seems to hit me in angles that I don't expect him to hit me in. There we go. Token of fidelity and a blue eye orb. Okay. Now that guy looks very familiar to me. And I'm not going to say who he looks like to me yet because, well, you will find out shortly. Hopefully shortly. There's an item over here. Hopefully nobody's going to jump me from behind while I try to grab it. Divine Blessing. Those are useful, though admittedly I never really used them playing this game. I probably should, but I mean, considering that they boost up, you know, your life points and things like that, but... And they also get rid of negative status ailments, I believe. I just never bothered using them. Now that jerk over there, I think I'm going to pull him. Hey, it's the same freaking dude! Or at least a dude that looks like him. This is annoying. Very annoying. You know, personally, I think these guys should actually be blue spirits instead of dark spirits, but I'll get into that later. Grab, 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 grab. I love the stupid enemies. And, I mean, these are not that bright. As you can see, they seem to have a hard time realizing that I'm not standing where they're swinging at. So I suppose I should be thankful for that, because they hit really damn hard. Oh, you've got to be kidding me. Really? Not only do I got to deal with polearm guy over there, and then I got... Alright, fine. This is Dark Souls. Dark Souls is not necessarily fair. Okay, honestly, it is fair, but it's... Did you see how long it took for him to realize he got... Okay. Wow, he just got hit by the arrows a couple of times. Oh, wait a minute, I'm being shot. Come on. Come over here and walk slowly and let the strychnine do its work. Should have done this with the other guys. Wow. That's some crazy tracking he's got. Uh-oh. He might kill me, actually. You know what? Okay, you go and do that. I mean, I missed out on whatever loot he was going to drop, but you know what? I can live with that. I'm saving the Estes, by the way, for what I have to deal with in there. You know something good's got to be in there. I mean, it's the building that looks like Anor Londo, and you got the drawbridge and all that. I must say, New Game Plus is sure, you know, keeping me on my toes. Normally, I would be done with this area by now, and like half the time it's taking me to get through it. Let's see. I don't like you, so I'm going to see if I can poison you. I'm not so sure if these guys can get poisoned, actually. Doesn't look like it. No, they can't get poisoned. At least, I've been throwing a lot of poison arrows at him, and he's not really, you know... He's not really complying with the whole getting poisoned thing. Let me wait for him to reach the stairs. That's it. Yes, this is cheap. I don't care. Again, this is Dark Souls. You win by any means necessary. There we go. There. I've said it before and I'll say it again. Always have some type of long-ranged option. Especially if you're a dex build. There is no reason for you to not have a bow if you're using a dex build. So now, this guy, who apparently didn't realize what was going on behind him until I finally stepped up. You know, they don't always do that fourth attack. That back foot, by the way, is the sweet spot. You want to stand behind that foot right there, his right foot. If you stand behind his right foot, you're always in the sweet spot where he's just not going to touch you. So we got a lever here. And obviously, it's used to bring down that. Kadoom. So we get to see what's in there. And oh, gee, a fog gate. Must be another boss. Now, we're about to come up to what has caused me some of the biggest headaches in this game. Not necessarily because of, you know, like, difficulty or anything like that. More because of the lore. Because it just begs so many freaking questions. By the way, we got the Ring of Binding, which gives you extra life if you've gone hollow. Because, as you know, when you go hollow, you're losing life every time if you die. You wear the Ring of Binding. I think it gives you a little bit more life back. And I completely forgot what the other thing was. I think it was a human effigy. So, yeah, the person waiting for me in there, there's so many freaking questions I have about what the hell is he doing here. So, let me risk getting my butt kicked and talk about it while we face him, shall we? So we step inside and, yeah, it's freaking Ornstein. What is Ornstein doing here? I've been asking that ever since this game came out. What is he doing here? I mean, sure, the first time I saw him, I was super excited. I'm like, oh my god, it's Ornstein! It's small around the corner! I mean, I know saying Old Dragon Slayer, it's freaking Ornstein, guys. So, but the more I thought about it, by the way, he's also ridiculously easy. You just do what I do. Walk circles around him and he dies. And you get the old Leo Ring and the Old Dragon Slayer Soul, which once again lends credence to the fact that that was freaking Ornstein. What is he doing here? I mean, sure, again, this place looks like Anor Londo, so maybe this is Anor Londo, or maybe it's a facsimile of Anor Londo and they just happen to have had his old soul lying around and they resurrected him or something like... But this... why is he here? What's his purpose for being here? It's never explained. And why is he gone dark? Like, I killed him so fast that you guys didn't really get a chance to see what he can actually do. But when he starts doing magical attacks, they're dark-based. They're not lightning-based like they used to be. Like, he still has this, his falling butt splat move from before. And when he does that, there's a huge explosion. But it's not lightning. It's dark-based. And I don't know why he's here. I really don't freaking know why. I have a very convoluted idea as to why. Okay, let's just get the obvious out the way. The main reason why he's here is just for, the game to go, hey, kiddies, it's Ornstein, remember? He's here! Yuck, 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 yuck. I mean, that was it. It was just like, it's just like this wink to the fans, but it kind of falls flat because the fans are then going to go, they're going to do what I'm doing and go, why the hell is he here? But as far as the lore goes, I think I may have a very convoluted theory. But let's talk to this guy first, and then we can go into it, because I think this guy is kind of... He kind of is part of that theory.
Knight, you may come to me, Targray, for help.
Oh, right. I forgot. I'm still part of the Way of Blue, so he's not going to go through his whole spiel of, oh, transient being. See, normally, when you first come here in New Game and you first deal with him, he doesn't know you from Adam. So he's going to be like, transient being. Who are you? And depending on if you helped people fight bosses yet or not, if you've basically not helped anybody yet, like you've not, been summoned into their world to fight off bosses and gotten a token of fidelity, then he pretty much wants nothing to do with you. He's just going to basically say, you're not wanted here, you don't have the right stuff, go away. You can't be part of the cool kids club. But if you do have a token of fidelity, then he's like, oh, wow, transient being, you taking down a boss. You can join the cool club now. You want to be part of the Way of, the Blue Sentinels? Or the Knights of Blue, which I obviously have joined. And then once you join them, then he'll sell you things. Like, for instance, this Morning Star and the Halberd, which kind of lends to his, cleric status, I guess. You can buy cracked blue eye orbs from him. That's something new that I don't remember him being able to sell before. I don't know whether they put that in an update or whether that's part of New Game Plus, but I certainly don't remember this in New Game. Certainly makes it easier to invade guilty people now, because before you had to either kill people for them or, kill enemies for them or fight duels and win them to get them. And you got Holy Water Urns, which do holy damage, which works great against undead. Bolt Stone, which, infuses your weapons with lightning. And then the Monastery Charms. And then he, of course, sells 2 miracles. He sells Heavenly Thunder and he sells Emit Force. Both fairly useful ones, which I don't use.
We Knights of the Blue must rely upon one another to achieve our greater goal. Present your token of fidelity to test your strength against other knights.
He's basically talking about, there's a chamber down that way that if you go in there and you present your token of fidelity to one of the statues, you'll be able to get into honorable duels with other Way of Blue members. And they're fun. I happen to like doing that, but it kind of sucks that you have to use a consumable item
Proud
just
knight,
to do that.
Aim high in all things. We Knights must protect the Apostles of Blue. Never forget this fact, and by your honor, never eschew your training.
Yeah, you guys may remember the Apostle of Blue Covenant that you can join when you first start the game by talking to the guy at the top of that monument in Majula. But the whole mechanic between the Apostles of Blue and the Knights of Blue is just broken. As I'm pretty sure I've stated before, it doesn't work, because the way it's supposed to work, the Apostle of Blue guy is going to be wearing a ring that whenever he gets invaded by, somebody, and you happen to be in the area, if you're wearing your Knights of Blue ring, you will be summoned into their world and save them. The problem is almost nobody stays in the Apostle of Blue Covenant. Everybody wants to join all the cooler ones. And because of that, you can go through the entire game and not once be summoned into somebody else's world to save them from getting jumped. It's just a broken mechanic. It just doesn't freaking work as intended. And I really wish they could have come up with a better way for that to happen. Or, give somebody a really good incentive for being in the Apostles of Blue besides, oh, if you're in here, somebody will come save you. People would rather be predators than having to be protected. It's a cool concept, but it just ended up not working.
There are others in this forsaken place who have only a lust for blood. They conspire to ambush blue apostles on the road. Knight of the Blue, protect our apostles from these bloodthirsty brigands. Take pride in your duty as a Blue Knight. Work hard and pursue a higher plane.
Now we get into the good stuff. This is the part of the Covenant that actually basically works. The Blue Sentinels are basically the rivals and hated enemies of the Brotherhood of Blood. They're the guys who show up in your game as, the Red Phantoms. And their Covenant is all about just go out and kill as many people as possible. Just bathe the land in blood. Fuck them up. The Blue Sentinels are there to stop them. And basically the way it works is... the way it generally works is, like, whenever they show up, you're supposed to be able to take them down. And in fact, when I use a blue eye orb, I'm taking down the guilty. And most of the time, the guilty happen to be the Brotherhood of Blood. So, the more they cause trouble, the more of a chance, they're going to be jumped by one of the people in my crew. And it's a lot of fun invading somebody who's been causing trouble to other players in the game. So that part works. What I think could have worked even better is if... say you were wearing your, Blue Sentinel ring, somebody else, if they get jumped by a Brotherhood of Blood member, whether they happen to be in the Blue Apostles or not, there's a chance that you can get summoned in their world to help them. Like maybe, let's say, if somebody is actually in the Blue Apostles, that there is, like, a good 75 to 100%... if you're in the Covenant, then there's a 100% chance that if they get jumped and a Blue Sentinel happens to be nearby, they'll get summoned in there. Anyone else, there's like maybe a 50% chance of that happening. Whether they, even though they're not in the Blue Apostles. Just as long as they're getting jumped by a Brotherhood of Blue, if you happen to be in the area and you're wearing the ring, you have a chance of jumping into their world. Or if you're not wearing your ring, then maybe it's more like a 35% chance or something. That would have been cool. I think that would have been a much better way to make this work. But they didn't go that way.
Do your work, and I will lend you strength.
Anyway, he probably has more dialogue, but let's stop talking about him for now. Let's kind of get back to Ornstein and what I think this place probably was meant to be. There was a lot of content that was changed around for this game. By the way, it's the Heide Knight Iron Mask and the Tower Shield. Notice that what that says, Heide Knight. Yes, those white knights that you saw me go past before, that one white knight you saw me go past earlier in the Force of Fallen Giants, this is where they came from. And you may remember that helmet of theirs looked a lot like Solaire's from Dark Souls 1. Now, that... And yeah, I'm not even going to get into the fact that, even though this is the place that they came from, you don't see a single one here. Later on, the newer version of this game, the Scholar of the Lost Sin version of this game, corrected that. Now they actually are here and they'll fight you. But I think I kind of understand why they spread them out throughout the land and not had them here. I guess there were knights that were just scattered to the four winds, like something horrible may have happened here and they just kind of gave up. I think that's kind of the impression that they wanted us to have, but it just didn't come across that way. It just came off more like, wow, they're not in their own homeland? Okay, whatever. But I'm thinking that this place, if it was not meant to be the remains of Anor Londo, it most certainly then was a place that was meant to kind of like be a second Anor Londo, or at least a place that was supposed to be a new way to honor the old gods, and possibly could even be a descendant of the Blades of the Dark Moon. Hear me out on this. First of all, you got the tie... Well, okay, that I'm going to tie in last. That's kind of going into stuff that I can't prove. And, well, to be honest, none of this stuff I can't really prove, but I can actually, like, argue for it. First of all, you get the giant knights around here, which are very reminiscent of the old giant knights from before that had different weapons. But these knights are really old, like they've been decrepit. It's obvious that, you know, this place has fallen into disrepair, and they have as well. It seems to me that they're kind of like a newer version of the giant knights that were walking around in old Anor Londo from Dark Souls 1. And then you got this place here, where when you break in, you got Ornstein there. Why the hell is he there? Well, if this place is supposed to be a newer Anor Londo, or at least connected to Anor Londo in some way, then I guess it would make sense that he'd be here. But then, why would he be here? The last time we bumped into Ornstein, that was in Dark Souls 1, and he was protecting something. What was he protecting? Well, he was protecting, you know, the Princess Guinevere, who, of course, was an illusion, but he was protecting something nonetheless. And he was also there to test the undead. If you can get past him, you obviously must have been the chosen undead, right? So maybe he's here to test you as well. I mean, obviously, once you defeat him, who's standing right here but Targray, who is the leader of the Blue Sentinels. And if you can make it past Ornstein and you have a token of fidelity, then he's like, okay, you've shown your stuff. You've obviously shown that you are tough enough to take out the evils of this land. Why don't you join our covenant and take out the guilty? Now, how does this tie back to Anor Londo? Well, who was the one who was behind the illusions and who was the real power of Anor Londo? Well, that would be Gwendolyn, right? The youngest child of Lord Gwyn from the first game, who happened to have been the leader of the covenant known as the Blades of the Dark Moon. And if you remember, the Blades of the Dark Moon played a very similar role to the Blue Sentinels. You know, right down to, you know, invading the guilty, showing up as a blue phantom, and using miracles and all that. So, what if, let's just say, what if the Blue Sentinels are actually the descendants of the Knights of the Blades of the Dark Moon? Like, what if they somehow, you know, without Gwendolyn to guide them, kind of became their own thing? You know, they're just taking out they're not just simply taking out those who offended the gods, they're just simply taking out the guilty, period. And this place being sort of their headquarters, at least one of their headquarters, is still paying homage to, you know, where they originally came from, which is Anor Londo, right down to the architecture and the themes. Maybe somehow they got a hold of the soul of Ornstein and have him as their test for new members. Possibly. Who knows? It could be. Now, that kind of leads to this. Heide's Tower of Flame. I know that the game implies that Lord Dran is supposed to have been built over the remains of Lord Dran. Like, what, actually I screwed up. Let me try that again. This whole place here is supposed to be built over the remains of Lord Dran. This new world that we're living in, that this game takes place in right now. But I remember when they were first advertising for Dark Souls 2, that they stated that this place would not be Lord Dran, it would be some new place. Now, obviously, they were doing some doublespeak. I mean, this is a new place built upon the remains of the old, you know, so this used to be Lord Dran, now it's something new. But let's pretend that maybe this wasn't built over Lord Dran, even though I think it's obvious that it was. I think that the evidence is strong that it was. But that leads to Heide's Tower of Flame. They never really explain what that tower is for, do they? It's just Heide's Tower of Flame. That's it. What's the flame for? What does it represent? What is it supposed to be? Now, I have no evidence of this, and I have no way of proving it, but I'm honestly thinking that when they were originally making this game, back before they had to make some big changes because the original director didn't know what the hell he was doing, I have a funny feeling that this place was possibly supposed to be a monument to Guinevere, and that this could have been a far-off land that she escaped to. Those of you who remember the lore of Dark Souls 1 may remember that it said that Guinevere, the real Guinevere, had left Lord Dran with her mate, who was known as Flan, the god of flame. We didn't hear anything more about Flan. All we know is that he was the person that she married. And they just left to some far-off place. Where they went, we don't know. What did they do afterwards? We don't know. Well, what if this was the place that they went to? And maybe, what if this was the place that they decided to build their new kingdom on? And that Tower of Flame might actually be a monument to Flan himself. It could be. I mean, that would explain why this place has the decor of Anor Londo. I mean, it would just, they would just simply continue the architecture of the place that they left behind. It would explain why they have princess-like protectors with them, including having an Ornstein-like person. It could be, right? The only problem is that's not called the Tower of Flan. It's called, Heide's Tower of Flame. And we don't even know who Heide is. But then again, what's to say that the name didn't change? Because it's possible that the names changed as well. We do know that the old souls here ended up being reincarnated under new names, so it could be that as well. But do you see what I mean by how just the fact that Ornstein's here, on top of the fact that this place looks like Anor Londo, it just begs all sorts of freaking questions, and not all of them necessarily are going to be answered in satisfactory ways. And in fact, in some ways, it kind of breaks the lore of the game a bit. It's frustrating. Especially when you consider that, again, there was content that was changed in the game, like, in mid-development. Oh, well. Anyway, I've yapped on long enough, and I think it's about time for me to cut the video down. I think here is a good time to cut it off, but before we go, we might as well light this bonfire here. And show you this little chamber. This is the chamber I was talking about, where if you offer a token of fidelity, here you will basically get into some honorable duels with your fellow clan members. And that's that. So, yep. Sorry this video went a bit overlong. I was trying to keep it under an hour, but I ended up yapping so much about the lore that it ended up being around an hour and 12 minutes or so. But hopefully it was entertaining enough for you guys. And hopefully the next video won't take nearly as long to record as this one did. So, hope you enjoyed it, and I will catch you guys later. So long.